Hey guys, today I just have some journals to share with you. These are some mini or smaller journals that I've been working on for about the last 8 weeks. I've just finished them and I'm going to pop them into my shop, so I want to show you what they look like and some of the details of the collection. So there are 7 journals that are going to be available. They are soft cover. They are made with Craftex and paint and ink, so they're a little bit grungy. I've done this style that I've done before, so basically they're like a mini version of this Craftex journal that I made, just without the little embroidery patches, but they're made the same way with the embossed areas on the cover and the paint and the Craftex. If anybody is wondering, I do have a class on how to make this cover on my Teachable site, which I'll link down below. So these little minis are made the exact same way. If you aren't aware of that class, you can learn how to make these covers. So the covers are pieced together with Craftex and, as I said, painted and inked up, and there's some embossed areas and they just feel really, really nice in your hands. These particular journals measure about 4 by 6 inches. So they're pretty small, but they're a really nice size for your hands. And the spines are about 2 inches wide, or almost 2 inches wide. So they're kind of chunky. And because they are soft cover, you can really put a whole lot of stuff in here and get them nice and chunky, and they won't get too alligator mouth. So they should close nicely even once you put heaps of stuff in here. I think these journals will make really nice little travel journals because they're a nice little size to put in your bag, and the types of papers that I've included inside I think would be really nice for travel journaling. And because I think they're perfect for travel journals, that is the reason why I have not put any charms off of these yet. I think what I will do is I'll add an option in the listing. So if you really do want charms added to your journal, I'll add that as an option so I can add them on for you. I know that I could do detachable charms, but I'm just not really a big fan of the look of detachable charms. I don't really like the clunkiness of the hardware that you use to attach the charms. I'm just not really a big fan of that look. So for me, it's either no charms or the charms that I always like to do. So these are the charms that I like to do. And again, if you do want one of these journals and you do end up buying them and you don't want me to add the charms, they do have the eyelet. So if later on you decide to add charms, the option is there, nice and easy for you to add some. And I do also have a little class in my Etsy store on exactly the way that I like to add charms. So if you'd like to do that, that is also an option. As I said, there are 7 journals that are going to be available. They're just all in different colors and they have different embossed patterns in them. So I'm just going to give you a quick close-up of the covers. They all have embossing on the spine and they all have this circle embossed area on the front cover. They all have stitching and they're all inked and grunged up, which I think is really cool. This one's blue. Then we have a lighter blue. Just going to give you a quick look at all of the covers. This one's like a grey, maybe with like a hint of blue, and some grungy effects with the ink. So there's that one. Then we've got the green one. Really like this one. Then a little brown one here. And another brown one. They're almost the same. This one's probably a little bit more chocolate. This one's got a bit more of like a yellow tone to it. This one's a little bit warmer, just slightly. And then we've got like a light brown. This one's got much more yellow tones in it, so it's kind of like a golden brown. Really pretty. All of these little journals have 8 signatures and they all have the same selection of papers included. So what I've done inside is I have just done a mixture of vintage papers. So they're ledger paper, lined paper, book pages, craft paper, matte paper. There's some patterned paper in here. There's some of this folk art paper. Different magazine papers from vintage magazines, just lots of really fun vintage papers. And the inside of all of the journals is lined with this beautiful fabric. So this is actually the same fabric that I used for my personal journal in this particular style. And the fabric on the inside just gives it such a nice feel to it. There's just lots of different lovely textures going on with these journals. So these journals are nice and simple, and I think there's something just so nice about that. And this particular size and the feel of the soft cover just feels so nice in your hands. And I think that with a little ribbon wrapped around it to tie it closed, it would be nice and easy just to throw in your bag, and it will be very durable and simple just to pull out and to add maybe like little Polaroid pictures, little travel ephemera, little drawings, anything like that I think would be really nice in here. So I'm going to add a little wraparound closure to these. They're also going to come in a little hand sewn drawstring bag, and they'll also have a little ephemera pack to go along with them. So all of these journals have the same assortment of papers. I'll just give you a little glimpse at them. They've all got the same variety of papers inside, but the fun thing is all of the papers are a little bit different to each other as well. So there's like lots of beautiful vintage maps and some lined paper, book pages, little magazine pages from little vintage magazines, some pattern paper, all sorts of fun things to play with. And really just such a nice selection and variety of textures and patterns and tones. I was going to do some tea-dyed pages and papers inside these journals before I started, but once I started gathering up all the papers that I wanted to include, the tones that they have, the natural aging that they have, and the variety altogether, I think just looks so nice. They really didn't need to be tea-dyed or anything. I feel like all of the papers, just as they are so beautiful together, and just make beautiful base pages for whatever you want to add to these little journals. So lots of beautiful fun pages to play with, and really nice tactile textured covers to hold in your hand. And I just would love to see these journals filled up with your own personal stuff, because I feel like once you really add your goodies in here, they're just going to feel better and better to hold in your hand. And that's really speaking from experience with this particular journal that I've made before and filled up. So in the exact same style, just on a larger scale. Once I filled it up with my own stuff, it just bulked up so nicely. It feels nice and heavy. And as you can see, I was able to really fill it up, but it never became too full that I couldn't close it nicely. So I'm really, really happy with these. I'm gonna have them in my Etsy shop really soon. So if you would like to catch the sale, make sure you read the description on this video for all of the details. As I mentioned, I'll probably have an option for adding charms if you really want charms, or if I don't have that option on the listing and you really, really want charms on your journal, you can always just send me a message after you purchase and I'll be happy to add some charms to them for you. But yes, really fun little mini journals. Really happy with them. I am working on other journals at the moment as well, but since I got these done, I thought I would just pop them into my shop and then I'll continue working on the other journals as well. So yes, I just wanted to share the details of the journals. If you have any questions, as always, just leave them in the comments down below. I will link the cover tutorial for this type of journal in case you haven't seen that yet. I'll link the beading tutorial as well in case you haven't seen that. And I'll also have all of the info for the sale of these journals in the description box as well. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today, and I will see you soon in my next video. Bye.